Good morning guys, and welcome to today's vlog. Today brings us to probably one of our favourite places in the UK, back to Whipsnade Zoo. I kind of got back on my feet recently after some issues with my back etc over the last fortnight, and I have come up with like a little bit of fun just before we go to Florida, which I'll talk about later at the end of the vlog. What we'll do today, we're going to do our alphabet of the zoo. So we're going to go through the animals, start with A all the way through to Z, and see what we can actually find, see if they're actually awake. As you can see behind me, I have a full audience of people ready to enjoy this, so let's go and do it. Now, as you can imagine, with pretty much anything we do, it will usually go wrong, so I'm expecting to show you guys empty enclosures and maybe posters depicting what animal should be in there. If that's what we do, that's what we do. Sorry guys, but you didn't make the list. I can see you're not particularly bothered by that. This is your enclosure of where our first animal would reside, but obviously, as we expected, they are asleep at the front. Okay, our first animals, which are aardvarks. I don't think you can get anything lower than that because it's AA, isn't it? Yeah. So aardvarks are our first creatures of the day, and they go by the names of Nacho and Terry. And the last time we was up here, they were in exactly the same spot having a kip. There you go. I think other animals with an A, we could have had a crusty meat pie, otherwise known as an armadillo, but we chose aardvarks. Some of our favourite animals, which also did not make the list because we didn't know where to categorise them, because they're African wild dogs, so they could have been an A, a W or a D. They spend a lot of time just running around over the back there in the woods or sleeping. Again, as expected, this would have been our second letter, which would have been B, and that would have been bear. Now, the bear is probably just relaxing in the back of the thicket over there in the small wooded area. This is where she would play with barrels and the balls in the water, have a wash, play about with sticks, etc. Be fed fish, fruit, veg, berries, peanut butter. They absolutely love peanut butter. Obviously we can't see her, so this is where she lives. I'll show you a picture if there's one on the wall of her, and perhaps the boars are out, which is also a B. There is a picture of Cinderella. She was one of 3 bears. There is a sad story behind it, I've said it in previous vlogs, but she did have other sisters in there, which was Sleeping Beauty and Snow White, and due to a tragic accident which happened with one of the branches falling across the bear pit, both Sleeping Beauty and Snow White managed to get out of their pen, get in with the boars. They had a bit of a scrap, and then they were about to run wild, so they had little option other than to euthanize them. These guys will never let you down. Also, beginning with B, we have boars. Cute little ones. When they're first born, for the first couple of months, they look like humbugs with their two-tone brown coloured stripes on their back. As they get older, they become like their parents, and they're more dark, not black, more of a greyish charcoaly colour. Little siblings having a fun little scrap over there. Won't cause anyone any harm. So babe, how do you think we're going with finding these animals? We're finding a lot of empty pens. Yeah, we're doing so well. So well. Plus he's making me do this in alphabetical order, which means we're literally walking one side of
the zoo to the other to look at an empty gate, empty area.
It's good on your feet though, isn't it? Again, it looks like sleepy time for these guys. They've had a bit of food, but they're resting. Nice nashes on him up the back there. He's rolling about already. I know, but it's Mrs. Oh, we're having a bit of a discussion. The problem is, one of the most easiest ones you'd expect to find is a donkey. I can't find a donkey.
I think it's over there.
No, I think they're emus. If I look, show you down here, there's a miniature donkey, but there was a big fluffy one. I don't know where it's gone. This seriously has to be the worst attempt at an animal alphabet ever. It's ridiculous, it really is. We are back in the game. I knew these guys wouldn't let us down. Over there in the paddock area we have E, and that is elephants. Some of our personal favourites. On this spot we've got a good view of the family there together. One of our favourites over there is Donna, who has just recently had a young calf. I don't believe there's a name for the calf as yet, but that is that little bundle over there running in between the legs of the elephants. You also have Auntie Luca in there, and I believe it's Kaylee Donna's mum? I believe so.
Kaylee's Donna's mum.
So that's your little family group over there. I knew the elephants wouldn't let me down, and that is the E of our alphabet. Maybe we're actually getting somewhere at last. Yeah, maybe not. Okay guys, we are up to F in our zoo alphabet, and that can only mean, well, it can mean frogs and other creatures, but we have decided to go with some of our favourites, which are the flamingos. Their colour comes from pretty much what they eat. There is a young one in there somewhere that is pretty much a dull grey colour. Not that is a duck in the distance there, but around the corner there is a youngster. See if we can get a close-up of them. They walk very elegantly. And a place where we will be going next weekend, when you tune in for the vlogs, if you're going to, is the start of our epic adventure, because we're off to Florida. So let's see if we can see that youngster. Maybe, maybe not. There you go. If you see the colour difference, the one over there, I think there's one younger than that, but it's just got no distinctive colour to it at all. It's pretty much grey. But the last time we was up here and we filmed them, there's a tiny little bird that was a flamingo, maybe half the size of them. The whipsnake train goes past, and we are heading off for letter G in our alphabet. And just have a walk now down to our next alphabetical animal. I'll tell you what, it's hard work going in order. I could have just cut out and do the videos sort of one animal next to another and then just try and edit it at home, but this is about getting my legs moving again after what's happened over the last fortnight. Okay, we're up onto a raised area for our next animal, which is of course G for giraffe. Could have had gorilla, but they ain't got gorillas here. The lowland gorillas are at London Zoo. Looks as if they've got people who have paid extra to come and feed them. As I said, someone has paid for the opportunity to feed the giraffes. I don't know whether they're like reindeer eat lichen, which is like a moss that forms on branches, but I think these guys eat the whole branch. And then obviously nature does its business and it comes out the other end looking like Maltesers on the floor. They're a very graceful creature. Okay, we're now up to H in our animal alphabet, and there are two species in this area. Up there we have your common hippo, mostly called common hippo because they sound like myself, and to the side around the back, which we'll have a look at briefly, is the pygmy hippos. But you've got two hippos out, and there's a larger hippo in the next pen. Now you could usually see them, if I focus out, in this little pond area here, which looks as if it's been filtered and drained a bit, but usually they turn that into a hippo soup and they just float, and just keep their nostrils above the water. They can actually stay down for quite a while. I don't know how many, if it's 5-10 minutes, even longer. But yeah, one of the most dangerous animals you can get by the water's edge. Don't be afraid of the crocodiles, be more afraid of those. There's certainly a size comparison, but that is your pygmy over there. Pretty cute compared to the size of these big guys over here. They are huge, like 3 times the size.
Can we go to the cheetahs? A bit of hay there.
Going back into our alphabet, perhaps we should have had ducks instead of donkeys. As their other distant relatives will be featuring later on, I just thought I would show little baby Nandy there, who is probably 17-18 months old now. Something extra fun for the kids and the youngsters to do. Wouldn't mind having a go at that myself. There's a nice safe little circuit for them to follow around. Really nice little track that. And these are your prices. You can see that. Bit of glare there, sorry guys. Maybe the other side. That's a bit better. There we go. Okay, we've reached I in our alphabet, and here we have stick insects. I for insects, of course. There's certainly some colour with these guys up here. Not sure what sort of butterfly or moth they are. But there are plenty of them about. Beetle. I guess a beetle's classed as an insect, and these are all your cocoons. Would have been good for the letter C earlier, but there is a crocodile. There's a dwarf crocodile. That sort of picture really doesn't show, so I look at my hands and it's not really big at all. Okay, let's leave him be. Now Jay was a bit of a struggle, and obviously it's not these little piggies here. The only thing closest I could find is obviously those blackbirds. I believe they are jackdaws. They're part of the crow family, so you've got jackdaws, blackbirds, crows, and the largest of that family is obviously the raven, which is synonymous with the Tower of London and the stories that go behind that. But yeah, that is your letter J. Beautiful bird of prey there, sitting up on a perch. There's currently a bird show going on behind us. K is our next selected alphabetical animal. Now I'm hoping they've got a kookaburra. But yeah, that's quite something. Beautiful colours. For the letter K, the idea was to have been kookaburra, because there's nothing actually here apart from the kookaburra, which is a K. Unfortunately, Kookaburra was not on display, so I can show you a close relative of the letter K. That there is a wallaby. They are free roaming throughout the zoo and closely related to the kangaroo, hence the letter K. And I could have used for the previous one for the letter J instead of a jackdaw. Could have been the Joey, which would be the infant or baby wallaby inside. Okay, we are currently at the letter L, and that is of course your lemurs, and you can go in with the lemurs. And as you can see from here, they're quite jumpy and quite sprightly. You go in with them and they can jump all over you. So if you have a bit of a nervous position, it's not advisable, but they don't cause you any harm. You should just brush past you as they jump from each branch to branch out there. They seem to be having some fun between them at the moment.
Yeah, you can go into the enclosure a bit.
Okay, this little rodent fella here, or not little, he is actually quite big. Probably the size of a Jack Russell. That is a Mara. They are free roaming in the zoo. And as the monkeys have decided not to play ball today because they were being fed, that will be our letter M. Just relaxing there, minding his own business. Free range of the zoo. Okay guys, the letter N we really struggled on. There's no narwhals or whatever out here. Couldn't really think of anything, so we have to go back to the dawn of time and pretty much looking at myself. Let's just turn around and say the word Neanderthal. I've been known as a bit of a knuckle dragger in the past, but yep, Neanderthal, early man, that will be our letter N. I truly did want otters for the letter O, being that they are my sister's favourite little creature, but unfortunately they're resting up like a lot of animals today, so I've had to improvise, and let's go and see something else beginning with O. Okay, he will do, or she will do, the first one we've come to. That is an owl. What sort of owl? I shall just find out for you. That is a great grey owl. I mean, there'll probably be barn owls, etc. in here, but trying to move on, get as many animals done as possible. So there's your letter O, an owl. P could have been many things, porcupines, etc., but I simply had to go with the penguins. Many varieties. We actually love seeing these at SeaWorld, which you've got the king and the emperor penguins, but these little fellas are just as cool. There usually are a couple of rock hoppers about. Guy over there sunning himself. And there is a plethora of penguins in a group over there. That is your letter P. Talk about timing. Guests going on a tour of the zoo. Those this side really want to be on the other side to see the elephants, but if they are on this side they will see the likes of camels, deer, etc. out on the safari section at the back. All about the timing, folks, all about the timing. Like so many of our obscure letters, the letter Q was really hard to even look into. Of course, maybe there might have been a quail of some sorts, but there wasn't one, so we found one with a more fitting tribute, shall we say, to the letter Q. So let's have a look at this. Okay, so for our letter Q, it is in fact a tribute to the great lady who opened this centre for the elephants over here on, what was the date again, babe? 11th of April 2017. Her Majesty the Queen opened this magnificent elephant area along with her husband Prince Philip. Now obviously, sadly, we all know what's happened in the last fortnight, And as I'm doing the alphabet, the letter Q, there can only be Queen. So, God rest your soul, Your Majesty. I still can't come to terms with the fact when I hear the national anthem that Queen is no longer part, it's now God Save the King, which I'm fully behind. And good luck to Prince Charles, who is now King Charles. And there we go, just a simple plaque there. The picture of the opening by Her Majesty the Queen. And this is what she opened. Magnificent indoor area for the elephants. Gets them away from the strong winds and rain that maybe autumn, winter will bring. It's really cosy in here for them. There used to be an older one on this spot, but it was tiny in comparison. And I've seen the elephants in here many a time and they absolutely love it. The keepers will hang sort of toys for them to play with. Now saying a toy, what would an elephant use as a toy? Maybe a ball, maybe a barrels, but also them barrels over there will have your likes of peanut butter spread around them. All the animals for some reason love peanut butter, and it must be something to do with protein that they're allowed to have it. Here we have something of what looks like your prehistoric era. These are your black rhinos, heavily armour plated by the looks of them, but they're quite timid, quite calm. They will charge if they are upset in any way or they're protecting their young. And I'm sure they're slightly related to the white rhino. Obviously they are rhinos, but they are of a different species. I don't think they're on the same continent. And there used to be greater one-horned rhino here. I'm not sure whether they're here anymore, but yeah, that's one of your two species, and that is your letter R. Not featured in our alphabet today, but these creatures here obviously usually have the ump. Mr. Spitty over there, because they do have a habit of spitting on people or vehicles as they go past. These are your camels. Ticking off our letter S and hiding there in the corner while the keepers lay out food and give a general clean up of a pen. I believe that he could be Lanky, and Lanky is a sloth bear. Now a sloth bear, not many people will know, but if you know the Jungle Book, Baloo was actually a sloth bear. Very graceful, very scruffy bear. Simply just waiting for some treats to be handed out. Let's leave me bit. Okay, when doing this list, we got to the letter T, and I first thought tortoise or turtle. I never thought about obviously the tiger, so let's go and have a look at these guys. Shocked I didn't even think about them, to be honest with you. Could you imagine what a tiger would actually do to you? What it's done to that. Of course, being our luck today, the tiger is actually dead to the world having a kip. But at least we've seen one. Yay. More effort from the tiger than there was from the bear. Now for the letter U, also difficult to find. Couldn't really find anything, so we'll go with the word universe. And the question is that you guys can have something to think about: is there other life forms out there in the universe? I believe so. Whether it's small, minute, microscopic creatures, etc., it simply has to be. There has to be life of some form somewhere about in existence. Now this is where it gets serious. This is where we're pushing the boat out, because this creature has actually escaped. This is what I call the velociraptor pit. It's been extinct for a long time. That used to be full of water. It actually was full of water the last time I probably come around and actually pointed the camera at it. It's now occupied by your wallabies and maras who are just free roaming, maybe some muntjac deer, etc. I've always thought there must have been something here because of that ornate staircase going up there. People say it's just a waterworks, but you would not go to all that effort to build that. So V is gonna be Velociraptor, and we're gonna say it's escaped. There we go, we shall call him Logan. Reason being, as you would expect, the guy with the claws, that there is a Wolverine. And that is our letter W of our zoo alphabet. Actually quite cute, but really, really vicious, otherwise known as a honey badger. There simply was nothing for the letter X. Now in the past I would have spelt Axolot, which is like an amphibian type creature starting with an X, but it actually begins with an A. It used to begin with an X, and it used to be some sort of Mexican god that took form of a salamander to stop being basically eaten. So the letter X is going to be a case of X marks the spot, and we are currently in Whipsnade Zoo, and the postcode for this is, Rachel?
LU6 to LF.
Thank you very much. Okay, for our letter Y, these strange fluffy cow looking creatures are actually yaks. I believe that they reside in the Himalayas, not sure what other areas, but yeah, that is your yak, and that is your letter Y in our animal alphabet. This fella here, of course, is a zebra, as we would call him, or zebra as those in the United States would call them. It's just a pronunciation, Z or Z. But that is a grey zebra. That is the last animal on our alphabet today. Bringing up the rear. Yeah, he's quite cool. And so today's vlog ends. It's been a challenge and a half, hasn't it, Rach?
Yeah, it certainly has.
Hey, Rach, she's pointing at you. Speak to the camera.
Hello.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good, but it's a long way, keep walking round.
How many miles have we done?
Well, earlier it was over 6. Just over 6 miles we'd done today.
Yeah, absolutely feeling it. Really, really knackered. Anyhow, the challenge was to present the animal alphabet. It's just as I threw down last night what come into my head, each alphabetic letter, an animal for that specific letter. We went through, done best we can, had to improvise with those that are not available either here in this zoo or not, maybe perhaps in this country, or no longer exist even. It was good to put it together. Absolutely feeling it now, but I needed to get off me butt and walk around. It's been a tough 2 weeks. I couldn't even walk 2 weeks ago, but that is in stark contrast to now. I've managed to do this 6 miles today. It's been slow, it's been a challenge, we've achieved it, but I needed it for next weekend, because next weekend is a huge one. This has been because of the pandemic, etc., that hit us. It's been 3 years in the making, actually a year, because I wasn't even vlogging then. But we were supposed to go to Florida last year, that was delayed again. That's when my first vlogging was actually starting to take place, but I've had a year of preparation. So the idea is to smash it out, give guys some idea of the fun that we will have out there, fun that they can have themselves, tips that I know of, knowledge I know of the area, and just put it all together. Different to what perhaps other people will present to you, because they might vlog it while they're out there, come home, add music, etc. Mine is the same day of release, so what you will watch might be uploaded within a half an hour of us getting home, in that case half an hour of us getting back to the hotel. So all being well with Wi-Fi, that is what is going to happen. I'll speak more about it next Friday when we go to the airport as a pre-travel day vlog, and then it's all systems go. Anyhow guys, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you in the movies. Bye for now.